And we're going to be checking out another vintage US MRE today. This is of course a brown bag MRE, menu number 12, scalloped potatoes with ham. Let's go ahead and open this one up. That lovely chemical plastic smell. So the first thing on top we have there is our box for the main scalloped potatoes with ham, and there's the ingredients list. Standard 8-ounce package, and we have our date of production on the top here. These first 4 digits will be the date of production. This was the 306th day of year 0, given that this is a brown bag MRE that can only be 1990, which just so happens to be the year I was born. Next up, we have a package of MRE crackers, a beverage-based powder lemon lime. This package is so shiny it's hard to pick up on the camera, but this is a brownie chocolate covered, very tight vacuum seal on that. A 1-ounce package of apple jelly, cocoa beverage powder, type 1 fortified, an MRE spoon, an old school looking brown accessory package, and a 4.5-ounce side of applesauce. Let's see what's in this accessory pack. The inside of this smells pretty grotesque. In that, we have a brown package of Taster's Choice, a package of non-dairy creamer, never seen that pack before, personally, 6 grams of sugar, light green pack of matches with red tips, a wet nap moist towelette, package of iodized salt, the good old standby Lighthouse toilet paper, and a 2-pack of peppermint chewing gum. Let's pull this retort out. It's green. Looks in pretty good shape. It doesn't seem to be delaminating or coming apart. Not yet anyway. So I'm going to pop this in some boiling water and we'll be right back with everything else plated up. As of the filming of this video, this ration is coming in at nearly 31 years old. So of course, whenever we're attempting to consume super expired food, we have to proceed with extreme caution as to not end up in the hospital or the morgue. First thing we're going to take a look at here is going to be this Taster's Choice. Now, the Taster's Choice usually doesn't hold up, but every now and then you get lucky. Giggity. So let's see what this one's looking like. And I think we just got lucky. That's what I'm talking about right there. Look at that. Absolutely perfect freeze-dried coffee crystals. That definitely has me in high hopes for the rest of this ration. Dump that in a glass. Let's take a look at the non-dairy creamer. It was still nice and white. Even if this stuff looks good, you got to give it a little taste. Otherwise, you can end up ruining an otherwise perfectly good cup of coffee. That's absolutely perfect. So that's definitely going in. We'll do the full 6 grams of sugar. And I've pre-measured 6 ounces of hot water here. And that's almost completely dissolved instantly. Hopefully this isn't too hot to taste because I'm going to go ahead and try it out. Oh, heck yeah. That Taster's Choice is one of my favorite ration coffees, bar none. It's not at all bitter. 6 grams of sugar is 2 grams more than you get in a modern MRE, so it's nice and sweet. That creamer does a good job of lightening it up. It's not the most powerful cup, sort of like a medium roast. It tastes really good though and is extremely drinkable. As good as that is by itself, I'm kind of in the mood for a mocha. So let's take a look at this cocoa beverage powder. Same thing as the creamer. You always want to give this a taste first. That does taste a little bit weird. I've tried it probably 3 times now, and I don't think it tastes the way it should, but it also doesn't taste horrible. So we'll dump that straight in to our coffee here, and that's going to require some substantial stirring. Well, it's looking really good. It's not really smelling like much. Usually the cocoa beverage base has a pretty pungent aroma that smells really nice and chocolatey. I'm not getting that this time. Let's see how it tastes. It's still good. It's not this amazing revelation of flavor like I've had before with hot chocolate. I don't know if that was just degraded some over time without going bad, or what's really going on with that. But it's not packing the flavor punch that it normally does. But it doesn't taste off or bad in any way. So I'm not complaining. The coffee flavor is now just barely in the background. The sweetness is on point. It's still very creamy. Just one little sip left. I guess it wasn't too bad. That was a great way to start this meal. Hopefully everything in the ration is at least as good as that. While we're doing drinks, we'll knock out our lemon lime beverage powder as well. It's a little bit chunky. It appears to be about half chunk and about half powder. Still smells as it should. In the glass we go. Pretty weird. It looks like the sugar has sort of separated from the actual lemon lime part of the beverage base powder. The water started changing colors right away. We definitely have a level of sediment in the bottom of the glass here. In the Gulf War era rations, supposedly these beverage-based powders were making soldiers very sick. There's some chemicals in them that was causing very bad side effects, but those guys were drinking them like every single day. So I'm not too worried about testing 1 or 2 a year, which is probably about my average. I think that's basically dissolved. Smells good, looks good. Lemon lime's always been my favorite beverage-based powder. Let's pull this applesauce out. The ingredients on this couldn't be any simpler. It's just applesauce and absorbic acid. This is before the days of the Applesauce being all super fortified. This retort's looking like it's in good shape. It's a little bit dark, I can tell that right away. Oh yeah, certainly very dark. Smells a little bit fermented. It's not wanting to come out of the package. I think maybe some moisture has evaporated over time. Definitely a little bit on the chunky side. Scrape all that out. Oh yeah, that is some thick, dark applesauce. Certainly not aesthetically pleasing. I think I'll be saving that till later in the meal just in case that makes me not feel so good. Bust these crackers open. Ooh, great vacuum on those. They're a little bit broken up. This has the very uniform, nice holes in it. And usually these crackers are extremely good. I think some of the best MRE crackers ever made. But these are very blonde, similar to that of a modern MRE. Usually these crackers have a dark toast to them. I guess this batch didn't stay in the oven quite as long. And our brownie chocolate covered. That's a tough little package. These always look so good. After boiling, our retort pouch is not looking so good. It is really delaminating something serious now. It's all crinkly and wrinkly, and it is steaming hot. That looks terrible. I'm not gonna lie, it looks awful. Doesn't smell so bad though. Basically smells like ham and potatoes, which is what it is. Well, let's dump that onto the tray. There's a lot of liquid in it. Oh yeah, look at that. Reminds me of the beef hash, but instead of beef, we have chunks of ham. In our mix here, there doesn't really seem to be that much going on. We have all these chunked pieces of ham and cubed pieces of potato. And other than that, there's nothing really visible besides all this cream sauce that everything is kind of floating in. The smell this is emitting is not quite right, but it does still smell like food, just not very good food. Let's start small. We'll get one piece of ham and one piece of potato, and let's go in for a taste. The ham was really soft. The potato just kind of melted away. I'm giving it a minute to kind of sit on my tongue and see if I pick up any ill effects such as a burning sensation, dryness of mouth, numbness, tingling, anything like that. And so far, I haven't detected anything like that. This sauce has butter in it, and this has kind of an old dairy thing going on. Not in a very egregious way. It's a little bit cheesy, and there's no cheese in these scalloped potatoes, but after 2 bites, I think we're in the green. Get a larger bite this time. Yeah, I think this is completely edible. 30 years old and completely consumable, I do believe. The sauce is a little bit thin, but it does have some creaminess to it. This is a quite salty main. There's a lot of sodium going on with that ham, and I'm sure the sauce itself has salt added to it. Flavors-wise, I'm not tasting much other than the pungent flavor of the ham. The potatoes add sort of a mushy texture contrast, which isn't that bad. After digging into probably a third of my portion here so far, I am feeling just a tiny bit of numbness on my lips, which is sort of a new one for me. Our bits of ham here seem to be mostly real muscle fibers. It's probably chunked and reformed, but it's at least not a complete blended meat product like a Spam. There's some actual meat going on in it. I'm definitely not afraid to continue eating that. Let's give our piece of our cracker a try here. It smells okay. Nice and crunchy. I can definitely tell a difference in the flavor being so lightly toasted like that. It doesn't have that deep, toasty nuttiness that these old crackers usually have. But even with that said, they're still pretty awesome. Let's go cracker, potato, and ham. This is one of those mains that's screaming for some crunchiness, so I think the cracker would be a good pairing. Most definitely. You could even crunch this cracker up and sort of mix it all together, and it would help absorb a lot of this thin liquid and sort of thicken the whole thing. But that's pretty all right. We have applesauce and apple jelly. Let's check out the apple jelly first. I'm gonna knead this very well because these old jellies definitely tend to split. Oh yeah, that is some dark apple jelly. Smells okay though. Sweet and appley, but a little bit metallic. I don't know if it's picking that up from the package that it's in. Has sort of an irony kind of metal thing going on. Oddly enough, it has a little bit of a spiciness to it. Not like hot sauce spicy, but spicy in the way that a really low quality artificial drink is, like a Sunny D or something. It has a weird like throat burning thing going on, but it tastes good enough for me to continue eating it. So let's put a little bit of that on a cracker. Man, that stuff is so dark and so thick. It's looking more like jam than jelly. It's a lot better that way. I didn't get any of that sensation I was describing as spiciness with it being on the cracker. I guess the cracker covered up whatever that was. And now it's just finely aged apple jelly. That's not too bad. Good enough for a third one. The tad bit of metal flavor is slightly concerning. And it has sort of a fermented mustiness going on. But there's nothing about that that makes me afraid to eat it. All right, let's wash that cracker down with some of our lemon lime drink. Flavor on that is still very potent after all these years. Sometimes the old beverage-based powders end up tasting like nothing but sugar. While this is still sweet, it has a little bit of lemon lime tartness to it, and that artificial fruity flavor is still nice and strong. It's light, it's clear, still pretty solid in my opinion. I've been eyeballing this applesauce for a while now, and this one was a little bit scary to me because not only does it look kind of weird in that it is several shades darker than applesauce should be, it also smells kind of weird. Like it's gone through a little bit of a fermentation process. It smells a little bit boozy, but that won't deter me from giving it a try. There's a look at it in all of its dark, appley goodness. You know, that is not as bad as I thought it would be, but that is also not good. Not good at all. Let's get another bite of it so I can really get a good idea of what we're dealing with here. It tastes similar to a rotten apple. If you've ever bitten into an apple and it just so happens that the part you bit into had a big bruise on it, and you know that that flavor is a little bit different than what this apple should be, that's kind of what this tastes like. It's not sweet anymore. It's a little bit sour, actually. And it's giving my mouth sort of a dry, almost sandpaper-like feeling. It doesn't taste like alcohol, so I'll give it that much. I think the sugar at some point converted to something else because there's no sweetness left. It's just sourness. And not soured like spoiled, but sour like a lemon. Another big spoonful there. I think it's edible, but is this one fun to eat? No. Not enjoyable. I think most people would just dump that straight in the trash can. I, on the other hand, don't believe in wasting basically anything that's edible. So I'm probably going to end up finishing this. And hopefully no ill effects come of that. Oh, it's getting worse the more I'm eating. Applesauce does just not taste like that. It literally tastes eerily similar to like a rotten apple. But look at me, I've eaten almost this whole compartment. I don't know what's wrong with me sometimes. I don't have to put myself through this. No one really cares. But for some reason I do. Because if I were to dump this out and throw it away, I would literally feel bad for wasting it. I'm starting to feel like this is not going to sit on my stomach that well. I'm getting a little bit of that feeling like it's kind of pushing back a little bit. I think this is going to be the last spoonful I consume. We'll call the rest of that good. Ugh, yeah, I'm so done with that. Whew. My mouth is all weird and dry and the sourness is still getting to me. I think I need another spoonful of our scalloped potatoes and ham to kind of get that applesauce flavor out of my mouth. This would have been a prime menu to add some hot sauce to. These scalloped potatoes could really use a little bit of vinegary heat. I'm actually enjoying it. Is it the best thing I've ever put in my mouth? Certainly not. Even after 30 plus years, this is still super edible. It just goes to show how reliable of a food storage option MREs really are. Keep them at a decent, consistent temperature, and these things will basically last as long as you do. One last bite. The apple jelly was definitely better than the applesauce, even with that metal flavor it has. And our last food item to try out is our brownie chocolate covered. It looks just fine, but trust me, these usually don't make it. There's a look at the inside. Those nuts are actually not quite as dark as I've seen them before. Has a distinct chemical smell, that mixed with a heat-stable chocolate. Certainly not like any brownie you will ever encounter anywhere else. Let's see how it's tasting. Initial impression is that, wow, I think this thing's gonna be edible. But as soon as those nuts get to work, the sides of my tongue started going numb on me. This doesn't even taste like chocolate anymore. Oh, wow. It's covering my mouth in a greasy film. That's worse than the applesauce. Holy crap. Once again, the chocolate covered brownie didn't make it. And man, my mouth is feeling weird right now. My tongue is numb on the sides. It's all dry. And yet I have this weird, slick, sort of waxy greasiness on the roof of my mouth. And I think that's probably from the chocolate. There's a good shot at a couple of the nuts on the inside. And they're not even all that dark, but they have gone rancid. Flavor-wise, this still tastes okay. But don't get me wrong, it's not good. But to be honest, I don't think these were ever good. This is one that I've never heard a former soldier or someone that ate these back in the day say that they liked them. The chocolate covered cookies, on the other hand, are excellent, and everybody loved those. I don't think these brownies were ever well liked. That's just so bad. Ugh. The inside of my mouth feels like I've been chewing on a crayon. Pretty disgusting. One last bite though. I think the rest of that, unfortunately, will have to go in the trash. I've hit my limit for the day. Try to wash that down with the rest of my drink here. And I must say, that's a pretty clean tray for a 30-year-old meal. That was the review, guys. 1990, menu number 12, scalloped potatoes with ham. And in my opinion, you really can't do much better for a brown bag. Whenever you run across one of these where almost everything in it can be consumed, it's a good day. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. That helps us out with the Google algorithm and getting the video out to other viewers. Let me know what you thought about this ration down in the comments. Would you have tried the applesauce? That might not have been the best idea. If I do end up having ill effects afterwards, I'll let you guys know about it, but I think I'll probably be okay. I have an iron stomach for the most part. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all of my ration reviews. Thanks so much for watching. I truly appreciate each and every view one of my videos gets, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See you then. Peace.